Hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about Google Slides. For this assignment this week for task 11, you're going to have to create a Google Slides presentation. However, this presentation is probably going to be different than a lot of presentations you created before. This one is not actually going to be used for lecture. This is actually going to be a interactive Google Slides presentation that you would give to your students and have them work on their own. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Just like with previous tasks, there is a rubric that is made for this one. It is in the task 11 assignment. I am going to go ahead and go through the rubric just kind of like I did with some of the previous assignments, so you can just follow along with me if you want to. If you want to just use this as a reference guide, you're more than welcome to do that as well. So the first thing with the scoring guide, the first thing with the Google Slides presentation is going to be the design. I don't really want you to use any of the themes that Google Slides provides. I'd kind of like you to go out and look at some third-party design templates that are available for free. There's 3 that I put in the rubric. One of them is Slide Carnival. Another one is Slides to Go. And then there's another one on here called Slides Mania. Now for the example that I'm about to show you, I actually got mine from Slides Mania. So let's go ahead and take a look at that real quick. So the reason I like these sites like Slides Go, Slides Mania, and Slides Carnival is because, yes, they do give you free design templates for PowerPoint as well as Google Slides, but they also don't make you go through the hassle of creating accounts and all that jazz. You can just pick which slide design you want to use, and then they ask you if you want to download it, and then they send it to either your Google Drive or they'll download it onto your computer. So they're really easy programs to use, and once you start working with them, you'll find that out for yourself. So going on down the rubric, the first thing that the second thing after the design is the title. And as you can see, I have a title on here. In this presentation, I'm actually going to talk about family game night and some board games and fun stuff like that. So make sure that you just have a nice little catchy title on there. With this one, you don't have to add course or grade level or anything like that. So just maybe something with an image and a nice creative title, and then you're good to go. After that, there are some directions I would like you to put in there. Just something that explains your goals and objectives in a language that your students would be able to understand. Of course, what's the purpose of this presentation, and then just put some general directions on there. I went ahead and put on the rubric that you can, if you want to, put the directions with the title if you want, or you can just go ahead and create a second slide and just put the directions on there. So either one I'm fine with. So it's your choice. After that, we go down and we're looking at Google Drawings. If I skip down the rubric just a little bit, there's also some talk on there about some additional slides. This is kind of what I did to use for my additional slides. I kind of just did a little chapter opening for each one. So, you're more than welcome to do that if you want to, or whatever you want to use for your additional slides, you're more than welcome to. But on this one, so the first game that I talked about is Monopoly. And I just gave a little brief history of Monopoly in there, how it got started. And then after that is where I put like the activity or the video or whatever interactive thing I decided that I wanted to do, which in this case is the Google Drawing. The Google Drawing that you did in the previous assignment, you are more than welcome to use and put on this. So hopefully, when you created that Google Drawing, you had something in mind with that lesson or unit plan, and you can just continue it on into this Google Slides presentation. So the main thing that gets people confused with integrating the Google Drawing into the Google Slides presentation is really how do you do it. So how do you grab everything that's in your Google Drawing and put it into the Google Slides presentation. There's the whole preview mode and stuff like that, but there's really an even easier way to do it, where you just actually take what you put on the drawing, copy and paste it, and put it onto the Google slide. And I can actually show you how to do that here real quick. If you give me just a quick second, I can create a new slide below that. So as you can see, it's a blank slide. Let me go ahead and get rid of this real quick. It's just a blank slide, and what I want to do is put my Google Drawing on it. So what you go ahead and do is you just open up your Google Drawing in Google Drawings, and then on your keyboard you can type Control A, or if you have a Mac, you hit Command A. So either Control A or Command A, depending on what type of computer you use. For personal computers, you're going to use Control A. For Macs, you're going to use Command A. So once you do that, as you can see, it highlights everything that is on your Google Drawing. So then from there, what you can do is all you have to do is now copy and paste. So in this case here, I'm just going to right click, and I am going to hit copy, and then I'm going to go back to my slides presentation, and I'm going to right click on the slide, and I am going to hit paste. So the nice thing is, once it is pasted onto your Google Slides presentation, you'll notice that everything is still highlighted. So what it allows you to do is you can actually just move it around to where you want, how you want to, resize it how you want to. And as you can see right there, I have it dead center, and then I can just click anywhere outside of the actual drawing, and now it is in its permanent place. And once again, you can see that it has all the interactive features as it did on the actual Google Drawing itself. So for the next part, I actually skipped ahead in the rubric a little bit. If you look in the rubric, it says Google Drawings is followed up with drag and drop. I actually jumped to the video instead, and you can do that if you want. There's nothing that says you have to do your slides in the exact order that's in the rubric. You can bounce around and do them any way you want to. I really don't care. So for me, when I created my presentation, I went ahead and did the video next. So what I did was I did another little chapter intro there with talking about Yahtzee and the history of Yahtzee. And then you move to the next slide, and it's actually a YouTube video on how to play Yahtzee. And I'll go ahead and show you real quick how to go ahead and put this video in to Google Slides. So you just hit insert, you just hit video, and you can see actually right there it says YouTube. So they're ready to pull videos from YouTube. So all I did was type how to play Yahtzee, and then you do the search, and there you go. Actually, it's the first video that I used right there. So you can just go ahead and hit select, and then it just adds the video in there, and then you can move it around wherever you want. So pretty easy. So for my third game, I decided to go ahead and talk about Uno. And then with Uno, this is where I decided to go ahead and do the drag and drop. And I also did another video in here as well, but we'll get to that here in a second. So once again, we did the chapter intro. I used the Uno image. I went ahead and gave a little history of Uno, and then you go to the next slide, and I decided to go ahead and do the rules of this game as well, because I kind of like the how to play Yahtzee. So I decided to use another one of their videos for how to play Uno. So I went ahead and did that as a link into an image, and you'll see for the assignment you need to go ahead and put some additional links and images in there as well. So this will go ahead and take care of that feature. So all you gotta do is click on it. You can see that the little YouTube video pops up, and you can open that up and watch the video. So the last thing that we're going to talk about with Uno is the drag and drop. So what you do for the drag and drop is really easy, and there's a really good video on it in the tutorials. That's at the folder at the top of Module 11. So if you go into Module 11, you watch that video on how to create drag and drop. It shows you just how easy it is. So what I did was I took a slide and I created these boxes. I put some text in there as well. So the idea was I was going to use some cards and put the cards in here, and then you move the cards around to the correct order as if you were actually stacking the cards in Uno. So as you can see, everything in here is live right now. And what that means is if you have a student that's working on this, and if they're moving the cards around, you'll see that actually, like if they accidentally grab something, they'll be able to move it around on the slide as well. But what we're trying to do is avoid that, and for the drag and drop, just create the essentials on there that need to be dragged and dropped. So what you do is that you take the slide presentation and you take a photo of it. And the way to do that is really easy. All you have to do is hit File and Download, and then just download a JPEG of the current slide. Then what that does is it downloads to your computer, and then you can add it back in as a background. So what I did then is, if you come down to the next one, you'll see that there are the same thing, only now it's an image, and now nothing can be moved around. So the way that happens is really easy. So what I did was I put a white slide on there, and to do that, since this theme didn't have white slides, what I needed to do was actually open a new Google Slides presentation and just take a blank white slide, and then you just copy it, and then you can just paste it into this presentation, which is pretty easy to do. So really, you just open up a new slides presentation, make sure that's blank and white, then you copy and paste that, and then you copy it, and then you just can paste it into this new presentation that you're working on. And then from there, you just click background, and then you just click choose image, and then you just upload your JPEG image into the slides presentation. And like I said, the video, the tutorial that's on Module 11 explains all that to you really, really well. So now what I'm going to do is talk to you about my drag and drop activity. So I showed you how to create your background as an image and put it into your slide presentation to make it to where nothing else moves. So what you can do now from here is you go ahead and put whatever objects you want to move into that presentation. So in this case, I was doing an Uno game, so I created and cut some Uno cards to put in here that could be dragged and dropped into different boxes around the slide. So what I want to do next is show you how I made these cards using the crop feature, as well as where I got them, which was in images. So rather than having to go search the browser, the Chrome browser, for different images, you can actually do all this within Google Slides. All you have to do is click Insert, Image, and then just search the web. And the nice thing about doing it this way is that any image that you pull from here is free to use. You have no copyright issues or anything like that, or any kind of restrictions, so you can go ahead and just grab these and use them as you want. So in this case, I actually used this stack of cards that was in Google Images. So all you have to do is just click on the image you want to use, and then click Insert, And then from there, all I had to do was go in and crop the image to any card that I wanted. So as you can see, I can just close it in here. And then all I had to do was click crop, and there it is. Now the card's cut, and I can use it. So yeah, so that's a good way to know how, if you want to cut your images down to a certain size or a certain object, or if you want to just find your images for the presentation overall. It's an excellent way to do it, and that's the way I highly recommend that you do it. So now that I've showed you how to do the drag and drop, the last thing we're going to talk about is the credits. All I need you to do for the credits is, if you access anything from a website, I would like you to go ahead and give credit for that. Any kind of YouTube videos or any kind of images that you find within Google Slides, you don't need to give me credit for those, because there'll be links for them already. The only thing that I need is if you actually went outside the Google Slides application to use something from the web or something like that. So make sure to give credit if you did that. And that's mostly going to come from if you're using text or stuff like that. So that's it. Good luck. If you guys have any questions, make sure and send me a message. All right? Thank you. Bye.